What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, as is par for the course when it comes to Marvel movies, but especially during the Multiverse Saga, there's a ton of speculations for cameos going on in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. And while I ultimately think it's Secret Wars, the 6th Avengers movie, that's going to have more cameos than Avengers Doomsday, still that hasn't stopped people from speculation, rumors, and now seeming confirmations coming from the actors themselves. That's where we pick up today with Josh Brolin speaking in his last interview about possibly returning as Thanos, and when prompted was pretty candid about the fact that the Russos may have already reached out. And because we know there's one specific scene that Marvel Studios may be looking to make good on, and during Avengers Secret Wars, well, it sort of adds a whole new context to his quote. We're breaking it all down, what exactly Josh Brolin said about returning as Thanos, and the fact that quote unquote the Russos may have already reached out. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. Thanks to everyone who's been subbing lately and helped grow the community. If you haven't already and you enjoy this type of content or want to support the channel, I just kindly invite you to hit the sub button. It's the #1 thing you can do to support us. Plus, it'll automatically enter you for all the giveaways if you want. Stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, quickly for some context, you may confuse this quote with some of his more recent quotes, say 3 months ago on the Happy Sad Confused podcast. Josh Brolin said something along the same lines, where he admitted he talks to the Russos 4 to 6 times a week because of other stuff that they're working on together, that he thinks they're going to come up with something super fun and exciting for Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, and that if they called him for Thanos, he wouldn't want to do a lesser version of the character, as the host put it, but he'd be back tomorrow. Well, he just reiterated the same thing, but it's the way that he said it. When prompted and asked if he would come back as Thanos for the upcoming Avengers movies, this is what he said point blank. If the Russos were to call, which they may have already, and they had some really great ideas, of course, I would love to do it. I'd love to come back as Thanos. Basically going wink wink, they may have already reached out about this. And let's face it, because of where we're headed with Avengers Secret Wars, you have to imagine that this is all in service of the extremely well-known comic panel where Dr. Doom pulls a straight Sub-Zero and rips Thanos' head and spine right out of his body. Now, very obviously, at this most recent con, where they showed a laser show for the upcoming Avengers Doomsday, which in my opinion held more Easter eggs and first looks than people are giving that laser show credit for. During that show, we saw something along the semblance of a Dr. Doom ripping out someone's head and spine. Some people pointed out it looked like the Scarlet Centurion, a version of Kang, but others pointed out more likely than not it was Thanos. You could sort of see the armor breaking around him. Well, it's a light show, it's translucent, it's hard to tell. Still, some people were suspecting this is that very famous comic panel, and this must confirm that Josh Brolin's Thanos is returning. Now, I don't think, for the same reason that I couldn't see Jonathan Majors signing up as Kang simply to show up in the first act of Avengers Doomsday and get killed off, that Josh Brolin would want to do anything of the same. I mean, they nailed a lot of characters during the Infinity Saga. Thanos is one of them. And if he gets a call from the Russos that simply says, hey, there's this really famous comic panel in Avengers Secret Wars where Dr. Doom is going to murder you in a gruesome way, would you want to come back and a cameo for that? I think obviously he'd agree because he's already a part of it, and it would probably mean more money, and there's a lot of reasons why you would want to get involved, but that's not an ideal scenario for Thanos' return. You'd possibly want him to have more agency than that. So we do have to at least consider, and for a second, some of these rumors that said that Dr. Doom would either show up with evil variants of the Avengers, or basically all-powerful or prime variants of villains and from across the multiverse. So, could I see that being something that would happen and then leading to some sort of conflict with Doom and him just murking Thanos? Yes, very possibly. But as I mentioned during the prologue of the video, all of this sounds a lot more reasonable, a lot more plausible for Avengers Secret Wars. That's where that comic panel took place in the first place, during Secret Wars. And I think after the multiverse has collapsed and we're in a battle world during Secret Wars where no one has their memories, that could be the place that we start to see different variants of heroes, villains, people maybe who have passed before, like our Thanos from the 616, but instead you have all these variants from across the multiverse engaged in battle world. That's where I'd suspect to see it. So when he says they may have already reached out, no, I don't expect to see Thanos in Avengers Doomsday. I don't expect to see Josh Brolin as a part of a cast announcement. But for Avengers Secret Wars, where I think literally anybody has a chance to show up, that's where I would suspect to see him. And then, oh, by the way, incidentally, we get to make good on that panel. Now look, real talk, I'm not sure how much stakes is still wrapped up in a Thanos death at this point. He went from surviving Infinity War to dying twice during Endgame, literally zapped in half by Infinity Ultron on the spot, died to the Illuminati after he already had Infinity Stones. So we've seen him die again and again, as his course for Marvel, once he died the first time, they may serve you up a couple more times for death. So I'm not sure that there's exactly the same amount of cachet to see Thanos basically get his head ripped out at this point, but I think it will be shocking to see that on screen during an Avengers film. We don't normally see that level of violence. They can't normally get away with something like that as PG-13, but what I would ultimately say is, for Avengers Secret Wars, since it is that ultimate culmination for all the Marvel Cinematic Universes, if we're thinking about the returning Fox X-Men characters, or characters like Toby and Andrew coming back as their versions of Spider-Man, then you should definitely open the door to any characters from the 616 that want to come back for that ultimate final battle as well, and Josh Brolin's Thanos would definitely be one of them. So again, I have to reiterate this. If you're looking for the cameo fest that you think Avengers Doomsday may be, that might actually be Secret Wars. And the bigger the name, the more likelihood I think they have of coming back. So I'm not surprised at all to hear Josh Brolin say that they may have already reached out. Don't get it twisted or misconstrued. It's not for Doomsday. That's already been filming. It's for Secret Wars, and when we finally turn the corner on Doomsday and see where this all ends up, if we're headlong into Battleworld, that's when I think anybody and everybody who's even died on screen, I don't know how many times like Thanos, has a chance of being resurrected, variant or not, from across the multiverse to be a part of Battleworld, where again we suspect all the memories will be wiped and they'll all be interacting when we pick up with that film, hopefully battling each other, hence the name. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below about any and all of this. Do you want to see Thanos back? Do you want to see a more powerful version, a different version like King Thanos, or do you want our version back? Either way, do you want to see what happens in Secret Wars happen on screen? I'm all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away PS5s at the channel. We're just going to continue to do that for Marvel drops. That picks up after the first of the year with Wonder Man. All you got to do be a sub, leave a comment, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Make sure to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on to keep up with the videos. And of course, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on all other platforms under the name AllFires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks to you, those of you who already have, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.